I think it's something where we were talking about it before we started shooting this podcast. Was it's hard for a guy to hear bad news, like you said, and if that bad news is basically getting rid of the entire deer population in their area, they don't want to hear that because that's their passion. They want to continue to hunt, but I don't think it's fair for that same guy to say, well, EHD, or as Ted Nugent said, weather kills more deer than
True.
CWD is. We're not talking about the climate. We're not talking about any other diseases. We're trying to have a conversation about CWD and what it's doing to deer population. So how do you feel like we can keep on topic and keep the conversation from when you're having a conversation with someone who, has a differing opinion from you? How do you keep it on CWD and not say, people try to downplay it by saying, well, this is a bigger issue. Well, we're not talking about that issue. We're talking about CWD. What advice would you give someone who's trying to have that conversation with a fellow hunter?
Yeah, I think part of it is we're doing a little bit of catch up on the communications game. So we have a group, it's the CWD coalition of non-government, nonprofit conservation organizations. There are scientists, there are people from state wildlife agencies, and we have come together and created what we call the CWD National Plan, with communications being a big part of that. And we are now meeting regularly to, number one, make sure that if we're spending resources, that we're putting our resources in the places where they have a chance to be the most effective. So we can't have everybody running off with their own message and not staying on the important message, and that's the one that's driven by the science and the facts. So we don't get into conjecture. We only talk about what we know about and what we know to be true. And as we become more organized and better at getting this message out, we'll essentially flood the market with the right information. And really, some people will still just not want to believe it, and they'll take their own position. That's fine. But there's a lot of people out there that we never hear from that are just kind of sitting there and paying attention and listening. And we believe that when that information is fully out there and people have it in consumable pieces, it's going to be really hard to dispute that it's an issue that needs to be dealt with. And we think that we will have the support of the masses to deal with this thing. So that's I'm not dodging your question, but just to say that we're working really hard to get the right messages out there. But in the meantime, if you have a question, don't be afraid to pick up the phone and call. You can contact me at the National Deer Alliance. If you're a QDMA member, you can contact those folks as an example. You go to the CWD Alliance website, and this is one of the easiest things you can do, and we continually put this out there. It's CWD-Alliance, CWD-info.org, or just put in Google CWD Alliance. And it is the clearinghouse for the most up-to-date and available science and information, news articles that you can find on this disease. None of it's made up. It's just the facts. And you can read for yourself and you can share it with others. And it's just a tremendous resource. So that's a really good place to point people.
You actually didn't dodge the question at all, by the way. I think that's a great answer, because what we're finding is people want to learn things kind of on their own terms, and getting into a debate online or whatever it is doesn't seem to have much merit, and nothing really gets done. So having something like CWD-info.org seems like a great resource for people who really are passionate about this and want to learn more about it.
Yeah, we can put that up for sure on the podcast.